Hey everyone, welcome to Patch Rundown 5.4. Before you watch this, stop what you're doing, read the patch notes. Why would you watch the rundown before you read the patch notes? Anyways, we have buffs, we have nerfs, we have changes to characters, and we have live gameplay team guys to talk to you. We have Wesley Ruddle, Smashgizmo, Jarvan IV, Riot Jag, here to talk with us about stuff. I tried to get you guys cooler people, but really no one on that team is awesome.
Yeah, no, we're just not that cool. You're on that team, right?
Stop. So, break something down for me real quick, because I, like many of our players, get very confused and angry when I read the patch notes because you're always nerfing my favorite characters and not all the other characters that I hate. It feels like we pick and choose, or we'll take some things out of competitive and we'll be like, that guy's going down and this one's not going down. Is there a rhyme? Is there a reason? What do you got?
Let's talk about Sivir, for example, because she seems like an outlier here, right?
Sure. Yeah, she is absent from the patch notes.
Right. So we know Sivir has a high pick rate. We know Sivir has a high win rate. We know Sivir is a strong champion, but we look at what Sivir does. She has a lot of distinct strengths. She has wave clear. She has a cool spell shield. She makes her team run fast.
Yeah, I love it when I run fast. I see Sivir, I want to pick, Olaf, maybe Udyr, Olaf, sometimes Olaf actually.
Right.
The old triple Olaf Sivir comp.
Yeah, that's
great
core to our
comp,
strategy.
Right.
Yeah. Jack gets happy when he gets to pick Udyr with us. It's great.
Yeah.
But she has some real weaknesses too, right? She's really short range. So if you want to beat her up with Caitlyn, that's actually a very good option in lane.
Yeah. Just like 150 range on her, right? Just like you're in another map screen, you're in another lane, and you're just auto-attacking Sivir down.
Yeah.
Her damage also isn't super high. You can pick stuff like Draven into her, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that guy's like, I don't need a spell shield to stop me. I just two-shot you.
Yeah. I'm Draven. Also, by the way, the only character that tells you how to fight her.
Right.
Yeah, as she throws it, better duck.
Better duck, right.
Look out.
That's very considerate of her, you know?
And, she actually is really vulnerable to dive champions. Like, Jarvan puts her in a box, and she's not getting out.
Right,
She's
of
just
course,
dead.
yeah.
So the interesting thing with her being powerful is that she isn't oppressive. You have options against her. You have ways to fight her.
Yeah.
And you actually get to play stuff with her, right? It's like, I couldn't play Leona, but Sivir just maybe moves 60% faster. I'm already on top of their Varus or whatever. Well, not Varus.
Or like Ari, for instance, like LeBlanc, these kind of like more blinky mobile characters, like she's already there.
Right, so she enables things instead of disables them.
Okay,
in terms
so
of champion select.
if that's an example of like something that we're like, oh, okay, this is an oppressive. So like, what is oppressive rather?
I think you mentioned Kassadin.
Right, yeah, I heard his range got reduced slightly.
Yeah,
so,
Rift Step.
Rift Step, right, yeah. So Kassadin, he has a problem that we see a lot where he gets picked in competitive like every game or none, right? He's got like something like a 90% pick ban this season. Last season he was banned every game by Red Side.
Yeah.
And the reason is because he tends to just not have ways to deal with him. He's a character he's strong because he doesn't have a ton of counterplay when he gets fed. I mean, what is the game plan against Kassadin, right? It's like, pick an AD laner, hope he doesn't go top. Try to beat him out before 6 when he last hits under tower and then kills everyone. There's a play pattern problem there,
Don't be under him when he blinks on top of you.
Right.
I've heard works.
Yeah.
That's the.
It's hard though, especially when he's blinking at 700 range.
Right.
Yeah.
So he kind of stamps out picks, unlike Sivir, right? He says, you can't play Lux, I'll just catch her and kill her, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of why we're doing a treatment with Kassadin, where we're like, well, we want to add ways to play against him, and that's the range change. Range tends to give a lot of telegraphing to opponents and room to play against, the ability to anticipate where he's going to attack you from.
Right.
He can't just blink on top of Malphite that ulted and like one-shot the backline anymore.
Right.
He has to have the repeated riff walk.
So like he can still do this if he like positions well or he hides behind other things, but like you're not just going to go through the front door anymore.
Right. He has to flank, right?
He has to either flank or do a couple rift walks to get to the back line, that sort of thing. Or, if he comes up the gut, right? If he comes right down the middle, he had to be like within range of people doing things.
Right.
700.
He had to scrap a little bit, but that's not the only change we're making the range one, right? Like we're doing something
else.
else.
There's also the mana change, and I think that it's
Everyone's
easy.
like, oh, 15 mana, big deal.
It's easy to overlook it, right? But it actually stacks up when you do the successive rift walks.
Right.
Up to 16 times the mana cost.
Right, and so at 15, that's what, 240 less mana at max stacks.
Yeah.
So that.
You have to bust out a calculator.
Yeah.
Well, we'll basically give it his base mana pools and a bunch of nonsense. When he hits W, he actually reaches thresholds now where he just gets enough mana to have the 4th stack rift walk again. So
he can get to the max stack, and then you just kind of keep
sustain
going.
it. Yeah, he can like blink on top of a dude, hit him with the W, blink again. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we want to retain the fantasy of Kassadin as this highly mobile rift walking beast that can be anywhere really frequently. but we want to make it so you have an idea to anticipate where he'll be. And if that's not true, next patch, we plan on doing follow-up work for him.
So talk about someone else who just jumps into fights and cleans up. Jarvan.
Prince Jarvan IV.
Jarmander. He's kind of everywhere right now.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
He's in your jungle.
He's in competitive.
He's in my jungle.
He's in Jeevan's jungle. He's in all of the jungles at the same time.
Yeah.
Jarvan, pretty similar to Kassadin in what we're talking about in terms of having lots and lots of strengths, not much in the way of defined weaknesses. So when we looked at him, we were like, okay, let's take a look at him relative to other junglers. What's he doing? You know, he's ganking incredibly well pre-6. He's ganking incredibly well post-6. He's clearing the jungle fast. He's clearing the jungle safe. He just does it all. He's, you know, what do you get the man who wants everything? There's nothing, right?
Yeah. Well, you get him your mid laner's flash and like a double kill. Like that's that's what you get him.
That's what you get from
all
him.
he wanted for his birthday. Yeah. The preseason jungle work we've done is really about highlighting strengths and weaknesses in the jungle. You know, clear speed, ganking, sustain. He seems to have all of them, right? He doesn't seem to have a weakness where you're like, oh, you definitely would pick Warwick there because he's actually safer through the jungle. He's not.
So which one are we taking down and why?
So we are taking down his survivability in the jungle, his health, and you know how high he's going to be when he finishes his first clear and his later clears.
Sure.
And a lot of that's because, you know, Jarvan, when we really think about him, like historically through the game, like early jungle pressure is like really defining for him, right? That EQ combo coming out of the jungle, incredibly threatening. That feels like the defining characteristics of Jarvan. So, so it felt like early pressure was like the strength that we really wanted to maintain from Jarvan. And so in doing that, we're like, okay, something has to give, and it's probably just going to be how high health he is when he comes out of the jungle all the time. So that's the axis that affects him the least in terms of still being Jarvan, right?
Right. And so again, as you say, it's just about giving him a way that you can play around him or fight him relative to other junglers, right? Like
like nowadays maybe you counter jungle him because he'll be lower health
or you counter gank him.
Right. Yeah.
He's going to be committing hard to the gank with his combo. He's going to be lower health. You can fight him back, right?
Right. All right. Cool. So the last thing that I want to get to here is. I don't know if you've ever heard of this item, Deathfire Grasp.
No. Can you go a little deeper on that?
It's not in the shop anymore.
Erased it from my memory along from the
yeah, that's removed from our collective consciousness. No, we took it out, patch 5.2. Last time we were talking about, we had Voidboy and Morello here. And so we tried to give love to all the people that used it. Two very notable users were missing, Mordekaiser and Veigar. Now that follow-up is here. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
So Veigar, I think, the way we plotted it out is that this guy was one of the premier burst mages in the game. And he's essentially an amplified version of DFG as a champion. Yeah. Right?
He looked kind of similar to the icon, as like tiny and blue.
Right, yeah. And he would pop up and one-shot you. And not every champion can do that, but we think that is Veigar's core fantasy. We're like, well, he has to be able to like really burst someone effectively. But then the tools he got to do that were 2-click on you skill shots and a very reliable long-range stun. So we still wanted to find a way to justify him one-shotting you, essentially, but we wanted to have some play to it, right?
When we're like looking at what a healthy burst mage looks like, right? He probably shouldn't be stunning people from that sort of range with any sort of reliability. And so we wanted to kind of tone that back and put the delay on it and then give him something back that was a, you know, healthier way to like let him unload his full combo and kill a dude, because he's getting pretty crazy amounts of AP. I mean, you can probably vouch for this, but in playtest, he's been going crazy with like hitting like 500 AP at 20 minutes, 1,000 by 35.
I haven't been in this playtest, but I hear people yelling.
Yeah.
And that's when I know it's a Veigar playtest.
Yeah.
It's because it's someone screaming followed by check your death recap, and I'm like, primordial burst, 1,082 damage.
Yeah, but that was interesting. I mean, in playtest, like every time someone died, literally every time, it's like, yo. What was the number? Tell us. Like, put it in chat, right?
Right. And so I guess what you're getting at, right, is like, you know, we still want Veigar to kill people.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't take this to mean, like, our kind of joking about this. That's like, oh, that number is like too insane, right? Like, I mean, it's big, but it's about making him kind of earn that, right? It's like, we sometimes see mid lane as kind of like the death of counterplay. It's like, who's being played mid lane? Oh, it's that guy that either clears the waves that I can't hit, or it's that guy that kills me before I can do anything, right? Yeah. I think. Personally, I would be sad. I think a lot of Veigar players would be sad if our buffs to him or changes to him just put him right on top of that. It'd be cool for a moment, and then it's like, oh, everyone's banning my character because he's just killing everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a good feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've changed a lot of what's reliable and what isn't on the kit. And what that means is like Master Veigar players could actually take advantage of it in ways that people who would just pick him to click on people couldn't, right? You can demonstrate, oh, I know the exact angle and how to consistently farm up 2 stacks per Q, and I could be stronger in a lot of points compared to previous Veigar, right?
Right, yeah. So last thing then, Mordekaiser, he's got a new mechanic. He's got a cool murder buddy move. He puts a shield on someone. Why are we doing this?
So one of the reasons Mordekaiser took a while is we tried to explore a version of him where he was a little more truer to the metal man fantasy with a big mace and a shield floating around him, which is that he was more of a brawler, kind of a tankier dude that's in the middle of the fight. So we took some time developing that, and then we saw what we developed, and Wesker talked about. We didn't like what we saw.
It wasn't great, right? I mean, it felt really similar to stuff like Darius and Garen, where it's like these are characters who are already having a hard time being picked, and it feels like we haven't figured something out about what a dude does when he just survives in the middle of a fight and just does some like ambient damage.
Some damage, right?
Right, it's a cool output of we didn't really go all the way down this direction, but we might not have seen this change if we didn't at least explore it, right? And we're like, oh yeah, this guy's success condition is obliterating someone quickly and turning him into a 6v4.
Right.
So now we basically give him a better way to help other people on his team doing that.
Yeah,
So he has more
help,
synergy.
help people help him. Right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you for coming by and talking the changes over with me. That is it for Patch Rundown 5.4. For myself, Wes, Jeevan, and everyone here, we'll see you next time your champion gets too strong.